Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? There's no fun if there's somebody in the chat. Okay, okay, you back. Hey, girl. Um, these live things are just so freaking weird. Like, why does everything have to be seemingly complicated? Okay, so you can see me down to the YouTube. Okay, so let me come on over here. I door dash some groceries and got a man. You know how that goes. Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm praying for you. Hopefully, you didn't order no produce or anything that requires a brain to determine. That is my prayer for you. God, this is the music for love. He been at the store since 2:30. He better have like 12 orders to do because there's no reason. Well, I don't also. How much stuff did you get? Are you the problem or is he? I already know the answer to that. It's definitely him. But still, men and grocery shopping are the worst. Yeah, it's crazy. You can see me and hear me on YouTube and on TikTok. It's weird, but I digress. I don't have the mental to figure it out, but we're here. Yeah, TikTok is not going for me today. 2:30 is insane. Okay, like I was saying before, shoot, I should have went. I could still do this on my other phone. I took some notes, but I think we should do it based on like storyline or based on episode. Ayana, I don't want to spoil it for you. You gotta go, or you just go. It's just gonna be spoiled. I don't. I don't know. I don't know how else I can manage it. You just. I don't know. I don't know. It's 100 items. That's a lot of stuff, girl. 100 items. You must be shopping for the month. He was in there struggling. Okay, he was like, "Wait, bananas, oranges, grape, apple, cherry." You having a party? I'm so sick. I really wanted you to come over. I wanted to come over. Life is not aligning for us to watch this Bridgerton situation. And our car gonna be in the shop for a good 3 weeks now. So that's cool. Oh, Ayana meet Kimberly and Kimberly meet Ayana. I talked to y'all each other about y'all. Okay, my notes. Okay, so as we know, Mr. Bridgerton is a rake. Okay, a rake. It is funny. I wonder how the word went from rape to hoe. Like, who changed the garden utensil? Who changed the term? It's a lot, but you know they count multiple items the same, so it's really not okay. Okay, okay. So if you got like 6 bananas, they each count. I'm gonna let I'm gonna let you slide. I'm gonna let you slide. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, Mr. Bridgerton is a rake. We see that he's absolutely not trying to settle down. But his mama is having the first ball, so she's like, basically, I hear you, but no. All that mess you talking about, living in the country, no, not gonna happen. Okay, so he goes to the ball. Yes, we're talking about season 4, the last season with Sophie and Benedict. Um, okay, so first I want to say I don't know what I was watching. It was a TikTok or something, but he was talking about how in this Shondaland universe, this Bridgerton universe, race does not exist. Like race it's not a concept. It's not anything that is like brought up in terms of conversation, in terms of class, in terms of station. Like the one ism that they do have in this world very heavily is classism, but not racism. So I just find that interesting and fun, if you will. We're talking about like storylines, I guess. So it will go through the whole season as opposed to episodic. Um, but I just find that fun and interesting to see the world in this light, right? Like when race doesn't matter, when an Asian lady can marry this white man and ascend, right? When Lady Danbury and Queen Charlotte, black women, fully black, what's the other lady, Mondridge, you know, can be in these like high positions in society. Um, it's more about rank than race, exactly. But they do talk about it in Queen Charlotte because they say Queen Charlotte is the gateway for Black people to get into society. Yes, yes. So obviously, this is a TV show, right? So like, it can be a non-factor. Race can be a non-factor, but in real life, that race gonna come into play. Your skin color is gonna matter. Like that is going to you can be the highest of the highest, but if you're black, we still got a conversation about that. If you're Asian, we still gonna have a conversation about that. Like only because it's a show, do we get to play in that area. But I find that cool. Okay, so Lady Whistledown is summoned by the Queen. Okay, which I like this little twist of events. I'm interested in Penelope's story because obviously we started this whole Bridgerton universe, dearest gentle reader, right? Like it's a core tenet of us watching her giving this gossip, her spreading the news. But she was only able to do that because she was a wallflower, because people didn't really notice her. Because like I said, she was a wallflower. She was inconspicuous, so people felt comfortable, just talking shit, shooting the shit, being who they were, and she was able to write about it. Well, now that people know who she is, people are being way more reserved and in a way not themselves, similar to social media, because they want her to put out specific stories, portray them a specific way. Why aren't you talking about certain things? You should be more like she doesn't have like that freedom to create, you know? So I can relate to that. Kimberlyn, actually, you just sent me that thing with Shonda, and it was just talking about how um, she was not often swayed by critics and reviews and the things like people would say is right and people would say is good. And I think as a creative, we have to like maintain that confidence or delusion even of our own idea, right? Like we have to maintain, no, this is a good thing. Not in an arrogant way and not in an uninfluenceable way, but like, you gotta know your shit good. Like you gotta know, okay, you told me no, but somebody's gonna tell me yes. Like you don't like this show, but like it said in the thing, you think this pilot is stupid, but 16.5 million people viewed the pilot and thought it was everything, right? So like I don't know how you like reassure yourself or what you have to tap into within yourself to know like this is aligned, this is on brand, this is I'm writing this or I'm creating this because I believe in it versus because that's what the people are saying I need to do. I don't know. Shonda said she creates for the story, not for who will consume the story. Right, right. So yeah, and I'm sure, and that's why Penelope was like, "I'm gonna still be writing, but it's not gonna be Lady Whistledown because she like, nah, I'm gonna still get my writing in. I'm gonna still do my thing, but it's going to be like, what I want it to be." Um, okay, so she's like, kind of struggling to find her authenticity and her voice in that episode. That's all I have for episode 1. Obviously, I don't know if there's something I missed, but we'll keep going. Okay, Lady Danbury wants to leave and the Queen forbids it. Now, this little interaction between the Queen and Lady Danbury I found to be extremely interesting because because we see their friendship tested, right? Like we see the line between professional and personal tried and what that looks like in this high society situation because like Lady Danbury said to the girl she was trying to make the lady in waiting, Lady Bondrich, I think is her name, she was like, you will always remember she's the queen, but you won't always treat her as the queen. And so the queen is like, I am always going to be the queen, but she doesn't often get the liberty to not act as a queen, if that makes sense. Like she always has to maintain this like upper above it all. I don't really care. I don't really need anybody, right? So then when her and Lady Danbury are going back and Lady Danbury is like, well, forgive me. I didn't know I was just your subject, just merely a subject, as she puts it. And and the Queen is like, yeah, you are my subject. Like, bitch, don't get it twisted, right? Also, but and 2 seconds later, she runs after her like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And the Queen don't be apologizing, let alone get up out her seat to go after anything or anybody. Okay, she got up out that throne and apologized to Agatha in that moment. And I thought that was very cool because shit, at some point you gotta be human. Like you can't allow your title and your status to forever dictate, like what you do and how you engage with people and your ability to like develop a relationship with someone, especially someone you want to call friend in her position, which I'm sure is extremely hard to do in the first place. Have a friend. So like she realized like, bitch, no, wait, let me make this right. Let me clean this up because that is my girl, at the end of the day. She can't really be human. She always has to honor the crown and what it represents, right? It's a callback to how King George did Charlotte when he was trying to uh, leave her at the house. Queen Charlotte remember how Danbury showed up for her when she was stuck in the palace by herself and after she got married. Exactly. Like that's her bestie. Like she's the only person that's been there with her, pretty much since day one. She's another Black woman, and that's her friend. And I told Daniel, I said, bitch, if I was a queen, I would have said no too. You can't leave me. Like, no, I gotta sit up here on this throne, bored, out of my mind, watching rope dancers and stuff. Girl, you're gonna have to do it too. We're gonna be in this together. Okay, we're all in this together. But at some point, I probably definitely I said I could be convinced though. The first answer would definitely have been no. Hey, Dr. G. Oh, I don't know what's going on with TikTok. My other friend said she can't see my video. You can't send the heart. I don't know, child. But hey, girl, how was your day? We're just getting into our convo about Bridgerton. So yeah, if I was a queen, I think I might have. Would y'all have said yes? Okay, if your best friend is like, I need to move, I want to go, and you have to say yes or no, would you would you have said yes the first time? I get it, but also I'm big Lady Danbury energy. No, no, absolutely. I'm still Lady Dan. I'm going to ask you again. I'm both of them, right? Like depending on which side of the thing I'm on. I'm gonna ask you again. I know you only saying no because you're gonna miss me and because I'm your friend. So I'm gonna ask you again. I'm gonna convince you. I'm gonna do the things, right? Like you said, you I know you're the queen. Like I know you, girl. Like you're not finna not I'm not finna not go. But then if I'm the queen, like I said, out of selfishness, I might have said no at first. But I was gonna let my girl go because I like I think eventually we'll see she sees her heart, right? She sees she's genuine. She sees like, well, she's not the queen. She doesn't have to be loyal to this crown and like stay here, right? She does deserve happiness and to go and da da da. So I definitely would have gave it to her, but I don't know. I can't lie. I'm a human. I probably would have been a little selfish, like, mm, I'm not even asking a friend. I'm telling you what. But okay, but I'm saying she's the queen. You can't tell the queen what you finna do. Well, she tried to tell the queen. She was like, "And I am done. If you would have it, I am done." She tried to tell her. She tried to tell her, but then, like I said, you got to remember that's always the queen. I'm not about to ask you a damn thing. I know the queen they have different rules, but child, I'm about to be gone. Yeah, but also, you have to think too. There is Lady Danbury asked because she has this. She also has a level of respect, right, for the queen. She also have a level of respect for order and decency and society and the blessing of said queen. We are Americans, okay? We do what the fuck we want when we want to fucking do it. Okay, we don't have a queen to consider, so we're a little more privileged in that way. What she say? Then they have that off with your head energy. Okay, off with my head then. Okay, because bitch, I don't want to be here. Um, Okay, so we didn't talk about the ball. Okay, so the ball happens. There's this beautiful spectacle. We get to the introduction of this. Well, I thought was going to be a real Cinderella story, but of course, in true Shonda fashion, she took it left, right, and everywhere in between. But basically, in that, Benedict sees Sophie from across the room, looking the most beautiful he's ever seen a person look. Okay, this is what I want to talk about: the dance cards. So am I to understand like, okay, so you go to the ball, you have this card, and basically people sign up to dance with you? Is that how that works? Like you get somebody to sign up, and if they sign up to dance, then that implies that they are interested in talking to you or interested in courting you. Um, I'm also Sophie, just staring off into the staring off into space, looking at the chandeliers. Okay, she was very much so mesmerized. Sis ain't know what to do with the dance card or anything. I think that's I don't know. That's so interesting to me. Like when if I was at a ball, and a dude, is your dance card full? And then I'm asking, okay, is full because they only have so much time to get in so many dances, and then are the dances like scheduled at like 7 o'clock? We're doing the foxtrot, and then 8 o'clock we're doing the snow bunny. Like I don't know, So how was your dance card full? Also, and then I guess if it's full, that means you was playing this whole time and you didn't come up and talk to me. So, bitch, oh well, you don't get to dance with me tonight. I don't know. Yes, the dance card means that they are expressing interest, and signing up is them taking turns, I guess. That's the part I don't know. Do they have to go in order? Yeah, like, do we know, okay, they're doing these dances tonight? Because, like, okay, in finishing school with Hyacinth, they was like, she was calling out the dances. She was like, okay, we're going to do, I don't know, the Albuquerque step or whatever the fuck. And then we're going to take a break and do this thing next. So, like, do they schedule which dances they're gonna do when or what or is that part of the allure of like what makes your party a good party? You got the people to play the good dances. I don't know. That's an interesting question. Fact, state your intention, sirs. If you want a dance, you better speak up quick, okay? You and these damn names are killing me. There's nobody in the Albuquerque. I don't know. That's what they be calling them. The firehead waltz and stuff. I don't know. Okay, so he sees her They dance, they sneak outside. He teaches her how to do a couple of dance moves or whatever. And in true Cinderella fashion, she leaves behind her glove. Um, and well, not true Cinderella fashion because that would have been her shoe, right? But she leaves behind her glove. So now he's going on this mission to like find all the ladies, right? Going through different balls and different bars and raking about. Well, not even really raking. He's being a upstanding gentleman of society now because he's trying to find his lady. Okay. He eventually narrows it down to go call on Miss Posey, which is the slower ditzy one in Sophie's home, in the Penwood home. Okay. And they're behind the door and the dude is like, go tell him Sophie. Go tell him who you are, Sophie. That's my what is that? Scottish? I don't know. That's my accent. But she's like, no, because you know, he basically basically the repercussions that would come of it, right? Like, what am I gonna do? Walk in there and say, I was the lady you danced with at the ball, but also I'm a maid, and do that in front of my evil stepmother, And it's just interesting how people discount the truth of things, um, but because of society. I actually was the person you fell in love with. I actually am still that same girl, still the same person that's interesting and makes you smile and has this good conversation, et cetera, et cetera. But because I'm now a maid, you can't be caught or the thought of being in love or having feelings for me now has to just be ignored, right? And that's obviously the whole theme of the show this season. But it is what it is. I guess that's life. And so I mean, I guess we still kind of have this debate today, with the whole would you date a bus driver thing? Would you date somebody who doesn't make X amount of dollars? Um, that whole conversation is still happening today. I think obviously we have way more choices and options, but I mean, I do think there is some credit to the conversation around equally yoked, right? I was going to say classism, but equally yoked. There is some credit to the conversation around that because, like, there you do live different lifestyles, right? With different levels of income, with different understanding around money, different philosophies of money, different experiences and money stories. I do think matter when deciding a partner. I don't think that you can't cross class lines, but it is a conversation to be had. I think ultimately what it comes down to though is your philosophy in today's society. Like, is your philosophy around money? And I don't know how these things work. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna say something else. Sure, you could be a bus driver and I'm a multimillionaire, but if we both understand the values of like investing, saving, growing in the same way, that relationship could work, right? Because we respect the dollar in the same way. And then on the other side of my head, I'm like, well, there's that whole Whitley Gilbert Dwayne clip where she's like, I want a man who's enterprising, who's smart, who's this, who's that, who's investing and this and that. And and then she gets around to saying, a man like that is never broke. So then there's this conversation of, well, if you do have a certain philosophy around money, why are you only a bus driver? If you do have a certain philosophy of money, why aren't you doing these other things? So I think it is a conversation to be had. Thankfully, we don't have the shackles on us like they had in this time frame where it don't even matter what you think or want. This is what society is telling you to do. But at least we can now, have the conversation. Baby society got them in a full chokehold. Okay, the whole time I was like, I wouldn't have lasted because I don't be following rules. Okay, for real. I forgot about the bus driver conversation. Equally yoked for me doesn't have anything to do with income at this point in life. Now, money practices for sure, exactly. But how much money? Not so much. You don't know, friend. What you don't know, Ayana? What you what you say IDK for? Shackles. That's a good way to put it. Because goodness gracious, yeah. And again, we're Americans living in the 21st century. We fortunately have this internal motivation to say things like, and not to say you wouldn't have been like that then, but to say things like, I wouldn't have lasted. Because at that time, what choice do you really have? Like, it really was impossible in a lot of cases for women to make decisions outside of a man. Like, you don't have choices. You don't have like she said in the thing to Mr. Bridgerton. And when he got her fired from the people's house. Like, I'm glad you think I have the choice of working for somebody, a kind person or not. Like, I don't have that liberty. I got to take the work that is in front of me. So I'm gonna need you to have some funds or the motivation to get some. No. Absolutely. I'm not dating a bus driver. I'm just saying. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying like that. But no, absolutely. Like, we got to have something going on. Okay. So, because if we have the same money mindset, why are you poor? Exactly that. And that's where I'm like, that's so interesting conversation because I don't know. Definitely have to have a way to earn an income. Period. Okay. Okay, so next, what do I have? Okay, so perfect. So then they go, after Benedict realizes that Posey is not his girl, he goes on this binger, drinking, partying, etc. He ends up at these people's house. I can't remember the boy's name that was about to SAO girl. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But anyway, I put creepy boy on my notes. They end up at the party with the creepy boy, and Benedict saves Sophie, who is saving the one-armed girl from getting attacked by the boys. And in this scuffle, Benedict gets hurt, but they end up going and traveling to my cottage. Okay, take me. I need me a my cottage. Okay, that big ass cottage off in the off in the country. She said, "Cause honey, the way I got me a husband and sat down, I work for leisure. Period. Okay, period. As you should, honey. As you should. Whatever makes you happy." Okay, so yeah, so now they're on their way to my cottage. Now, okay, so even speaking of like things, like, okay, this whole concept too of them two being together unchaperoned, right, unsupervised, is extremely inappropriate for society, right? Like, why is y'all together by yourself? And he even says, like, okay, I won't look at you. Like, if it's that serious, I won't look at you. But like, you can't be out here walking in the middle of the night. Cavender, that's the name. Coming from the Cavender house, it's like, it's not safe, right? Okay, so they go to my cottage, they stay there. She nurses him back to health. Now, wouldn't we all love a second little home to travel to that's being upkept by the Crabtrees, who make the best biscuits and will bring you breakfast, in the morning, and make your bed and all the things. She was having a real hard time while she was there because he was like, "You'll be my guest." She was having a real hard time with it, leisuring. Would love me a cottage, okay? She was having a real hard time not doing things. And I can relate, I can relate. I ain't never been a maid a day in my life. Amen. Praise the Lord. But sitting, and then it's like, in that time, what do you do? You literally he had to sit in bed, like, read books all day, which I guess, okay, fine. Run through the fields. I don't don't know. Like, does it get tiring? Does it get boring? I don't know. I guess that's life. It wouldn't. Their attention spans probably would have been longer, right? So the frolicking wouldn't have been so boring, right? I would love to stay in the countryside. I love the idea of being away from society. Yeah, and I think that's an interesting thing too. Like they had their home in the ton, right, in town, and then they have their cottage out and away in the countryside. Like that's I need that life. Absolutely. It's because she is really high society. I hate that she was made to feel less than by her stepmom. Yeah, that is insane. You're gonna see the end. I'm gonna try and talk slowly. You ain't gonna finish the end by the time I get off the line. Her father is to blame for real. How? How? Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. When I go back to the beginning, he should have never let that little girl be called a ward. First of all, he should have never let her not participate in the things. Second of all, and he shouldn't have been out here spreading it low and laying it wide with a lady he wasn't married with. Also, and if he wasn't finna take care of her, okay. Nah, she ain't seen the second half, girl. Well, she's on it now, but yeah. Okay, so then this is the beginning of the maid wars that we see because Lady Penwood has now had to move out of her home into a new home in Grosvenor Square, right next to the Bridgertons, and she's looking for new maids, right? Because she fired Sophie, so she need all the maids, and they go through all these things of wages and et cetera, et cetera. And we see Varley quits the Featheringtons home. And she been there since the beginning. Varley girl, she gets the tea. Okay, she's involved in the schemes. She's a part of the plans. She done buried some bodies. She done sent out some letters. She done forged some signatures. Varley is not the housemaid that you want to quit on you. So when Lady Featherington, and this is also just so classist and elitist, and I have a trauma response to this scene. But when that lady brought out them old dresses and was like, well, I know you wanted to be paid more, but I gave you these dresses instead. I was like, oh, hell no. If that ain't like the bosses that's trying to give you a pizza party, I don't know what is. And then she gonna have the nerve to say, well, you can wear these, when you go and do whatever it is you do in your free time. Like, nobody want these old ass dresses. You don't even want this shit. Like, that shit pissed me off. Oh, shoot, I missed coming. He should have set something up for a long time ago. Absolutely. 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 I love this. I love that this season they explored the lives of the maids and the people who have been visible up to this point. Absolutely. Her giving them dresses pissed me off so bad. Big pizza party energy. Then turn around and bought. Okay, so like I told you, this was written out of the book of Java Therese Holiday. That's my mama. Um, when I promise you, when I was younger, he would go shopping. She would go to Ross and Marshalls, come back with big ass bags. And you know that shit cheap, right? So for $100, you can really get a lot of stuff and then, you balling out. She'll come back. Look at all this stuff I got. And have me, girl, try the stuff on. Try the stuff on that's hers. And I'm looking in the bag. Did you get me anything? Is there a shirt? Can you give me something next time? Oh, and it was on sale and it was only this. And I got a 50% with my coupon and blah, 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 blah. And nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. And instead, when you get your own money, you can buy whatever you want. That shit was very annoying. Like I said, I have a trauma response and I'm still working on that. I'm a journal about it later. But anywho, Barley is not the one you want to quit. And honestly, I thought her storyline was going to be more cynical. I thought she was going to start spilling the beans and telling the secrets because old girl did her wrong. But I guess that goes to speak for loyalty, right? Because she really did fuck with that family. So, exactly. Don't give me no hand me downs like it was a gift. And those loud ass colorful dresses aren't even practical to my life. Like I'm not going to no ball. Exactly. That shit is wild. But she ends up going to work for the new Lady Penwood right next door. So we'll see how that plays out in a minute. What else do I have? Okay, Lady Bridgerton got her a boo. What is his name? Do we know his name? Danbury is his sister, but I don't think his name is Lord Danbury, is it? But no, because that's her married name. Lord Anderson. Yes, Lord Anderson. She got her a little boo, okay, a little chocolate drop. And I told Day, I said, every time she talked, it's like she out of breath. Girl, catch your breath. And I would love to, if we could just, I just don't know if we could, but oh, I just, like, lady. She is hot and bothered, boy. That thing is tickling, tingling, a ling a linga. Okay. So they do that little flirting or whatever, act like they can't touch each other. And at first, I didn't really realize the big deal because they're both single, right? That's another thing as a woman in society, right? We don't have, I guess, the freedom to date. I mean, my husband been dead, big dead, okay, for quite some time. Yet I am still beholden to him and his whatever. And fortunately for her, she actually loved that man. So I'm sure it wasn't as much of a sacrifice as maybe for others, like who didn't necessarily have a love match with their husbands and still having to be loyal to their dead behind self. So that was interesting. Okay, so then they talk about the pinnacle. Okay, they talk about the pinnacle. I was watching another show. I don't think it was, maybe it was Bridgerton, but it was another like Bridgerton era esque show. And this concept of no, it was Bridgerton. Sex and the pinnacle is so interesting that even in 2026, it is still like taboo. I don't think people get married nowadays, right? And not know these things. But I do think people get married and not necessarily know how these things work or what these things like require or where they come from. And so I just found that to be and hearing, Lady Bridgerton try to explain it and all these metaphors, and then Penelope try to explain it, she still end up metaphoring, is trying to caught up. It's just, it's just how technical does one get? Personally, I think I was like, okay, if I was telling my daughter this, I feel like I would be as technical as I can, right? Because you need to know the mechanics of these things, right? That's what makes the metaphors possible and the birds and the rainbows and the butterflies. Like you got to tell them how to get up in there. You got to explain the things on the thing. And to me, it's just easier to use like actual language, right? Than trying to sugarcoat and metaphoric and simile. You got a daughter, and you're gonna be having this conversation before any of us. And what a shame. So, as a science teacher, the fact that they are sending these girls out there without informing them what happens is so wild. Okay. And what a shame for them. People definitely get married and don't know these things, especially in the church that they grew up in. My students used to say so much crazy stuff because why are we acting shy? They all married and grown women because they have to uphold this idea of purity. And okay, so when I said people get married and I know these things, you're right. Okay, so do they not even know people have sex? Because, well, no, they know they was having. No, they didn't know they was to have sex. Well, I'm thinking about season 1. Oh, girl didn't know he was supposed to pinnacle in her. She knew there was pinnacle happening. I don't think she knew it was supposed to happen in her. But that concept is so strange, right? You got to be able to explain how they got here. Okay, so hopefully, preferably, ideally, because that's a scary world to enter, uh, literally and metaphorically, right? Without knowledge, without any information on how a pinnacle pinnacleizes. I don't know. When they come of age, there is a conversation that should be had for both men and women. Exactly. It's very, very scary. It's also why so many girls get taken advantage of. It exactly is. Exactly is. Because you don't know, you don't know. You just simply don't know. And then you have people like Lady Danbury's story who, right? Like your whole marriage is just get them out of here. Okay, immediately. Um, but yeah, Ayana, let us know how that conversation goes. Okay, what is of age? Because also, how old are these girls? Are they what 14, 15, 16? Are they 18? I don't know how old they are when they enter society. Don't look it up. How old were 17 or 18 years old? Okay, still children. Consider spinsters by their mid 20s. Mm, interesting. So by the time you're 20, 18, 19, 20, yeah, you're out there 3 years on the marriage mark. um, if you notice, the boys knew, right? That's what happens when the boys learn from porn or the men that live their lives. Women don't get these talks. Exactly. Around 14 or 16 years of age for debut. Okay, so you saying 14 to 16. This is saying 8. I'm more inclined to believe you than this. Some debuts as early as 16. I'm more inclined to believe you than this Google results. Because they like them young, unfortunately. So yeah, so even at that age, it's just like you don't know much and need to get to know. Okay. Okay. Episode 4 is when I stop taking notes, so y'all gonna have to help me, Jesus. Lady B is the T. Okay. So finally, her and her boo connect. I guess I could kind of like skim through it. Yeah. Her and her boo connect. Um, Oh, okay. So Sophie is hired at Bridgerton House. Sophie is hired at Bridgerton House. When they go out into society, they should be presented with all information. They should. That's technically, you would think that would be the point of the finishing lesson, right? That what's her name is in Hyacinth is in, right? You learn all this stuff about society, but she's learning about freaking tablecloths and silver and china, as opposed to her vagina. Okay. Anyway, okay, so Sophie is hired at Bridgerton House. Have y'all ever had to work with somebody that you had a crush on? I'm trying to think. I had ideas of crushes, but they never materialized into real crushes, if that makes sense. Like, there were people I would work with, like, that could be interesting. But then I feel like we worked the time we worked together was too much time for me to see who they actually were as a person, and then you become unattracted also, and you don't shit where you eat. So there's that. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I would want to. So I understand. I worked with the crush before and back in the college days. Y'all was doing it back in the break room and stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Being nasty in the break room. Um, so he gets her a job at the house. She becomes the girl's ladies' maids. And what else? Young Lady Bridgerton sets up the tea. Absolutely not. But uh but once we did do it, the thrill was over. Yeah, that's usually that now that also need to be in that book. Whatever book we putting together to tell the girls before they enter society. A lot of times the thrill is gone after. Okay, the fact. Yeah, and almost immediately. It's kind of freaking annoying. Like, damn, that was disappointing. Um Okay, so the girls get together to kiki basically about, girl things, who's Bridgerton crushing on. If what's her name? Kilmartin. What is the girl name? ABCD? What's the lady name? Not Hyacinth, not Eloise, Francesca. If she is ready to host the people down to her house, and she's interesting because she kind of freaking out a little bit because she's the one of all her siblings who likes order and and decorum and quiet, right, and peace and reading and silence, whereas our other siblings are very much like active and rambunctious and excitable, right? She like, I need some peace and quiet. That's why her and her man went down to the Scotland um, for a while before they came back. Anything else happened? That's probably why I only got a couple notes because there's really nothing to note here except again, Lady Bridgerton has her tea. Apparently, that was a good move. Okay, she wasn't over him after that. Oh, and the end of the first half of the season, the big question: will you be my mistress? Will you be my mistress? Will you sleep with me on the side? Will you be my mistress and sleep with me only at night? That was crazy. Okay. Talk about what the fuck? Like that ruins an entire moment. And she had just busted off. Okay. And he gonna ask her something that's like that. It was dead ass serious. It was dead serious. Like he genuinely and I can't be mad at him because again, given his station in life, given, the environment, situation is freaking Bridgerton. He really thought that was an offer. And to some, it is, right? Like to some people, that is considered a level up, a improvement on things, okay? Because she is a maid. And in what world could a maid possibly ever, you know, get with a Lord Bridgerton, that is, So, oh God, hold on, let me Coochie dry right up, okay? Don't ask me no shit like that. I'm not trying to be a dirty secret. Where is the yearning? Will you be will you be my mistress? Ask me okay. Ask me something else. And he didn't even say, will you be? He said, be my mistress. Okay. He thought he was doing something, his big one. And also, that is something that men do. Okay. The offer should have been, I don't care about society or your family. I choose you anyway. Period. Okay. But see, to Kimberly's point, that is something that men do. You got to let a bitch know. Because to her point and my point, that's something that men do. And that's something that the next bitch is going to say yes to. That's something that, what I'm saying, the next maid will accept the offer. Hence, why it was a big topic of conversation. And in a bar, yeah, just get a mistress. Just get a mistress. You don't have a mistress? Like everybody, so they got a mistress. They got a mistress. Like everybody has a mistress because it's just what the fuck you do. And also, I get it. So, not let me say this. I give the men's the inkling of credit in that they do have to live up to society. They are not afforded the opportunity to actually marry someone they love. God forbid the person that they fall in love with is a maid, right? And they do have to. They don't want like when they ran down all them consequences of him being with Sophie. It's like, okay, sure, you could choose Sophie, the one you love, right? But then you're outcast from society. You don't get to see your family. If we do talk, it's very discreet. We can't be seen with you because then that ruins our chances and our futures because you want to be married to the maid, right? Your kids then that you have no rights to, etc. You have to give up your entire life. So then, they are put in this predicament, if you will, that isn't just about being honest and upright. It is about legacy and family and generations, right? Imagine if not in Benedict's cases, he's not the firstborn, but if he was the firstborn, like Anthony, and you fall in love with this girl and you decide to marry her and go off to the countryside and follow your heart, right? Follow the love that you actually have and say fuck society. Now all your siblings, as a result, are affected, right? They could or could not be married and chosen because of your decision to follow your heart. So it sounds good. It sounds simple and easy. And again, we are thinking as 21st century Americans with privilege of choice and independence. So I don't know. And the next lady would have said yes, okay, because it wouldn't have been me. Correct. There are women who don't want to have society. They want to be taken care of without the ties of what society expects. And the chances for his sisters, yeah, likes that. Oh well, I'm selfish. Hey, when you got 8 brothers and sisters, it's kind of hard to be selfish. I think. I know. I hear you. I hear you. I'm not saying nothing wrong, but I think that's also the fun in like writing and creating these worlds and these stories. Because while we would say these things, to create a good story and to actually write the universe and be true to it, you have to genuinely put that cap on and say, okay, with all these shackles, what would actually be the next step? What would somebody actually say? Is it I gotta put me first, Lucius? I gotta put me first. Well, I don't know. We'll have to ask Anthony and Lady Bridgerton, okay? Okay, will you be my mistress? Okay, also in this episode, Lady Danbury approaches Lady Mondridge, which their story is crazy how they came up. I also kind of forget how they came up, but something about their son is heir to the throne because somebody on her side died or something. Okay, so now they in society. But she offers her to be a lady in waiting. And this is another society thing where it's just like she's saying, nobody turns away from the queen, right? To be a lady in waiting is technically an honor. It's technically a revered opportunity, right? But bitch, don't nobody want to be standing behind this mean behind lady and waiting for her to say speak and waiting for her to say jump and whatever else she needs to be done. But you get to be in the queen's ear, right? And you get to, in a way, influence the queen, right? You get to kind of help shape society if you do it right, allegedly. So there's that opportunity. So it's just kind of like, how would you feel about, I don't know what kind of opportunity you would equate that with today, but I would guess like politics in a way, some sort of political position where you can make policy, but also you have to be very like, you lose a lot of freedoms, daily freedoms. You get a lot of power, but you don't have a lot of freedom. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's see. I was definitely not raised to put myself first. I couldn't even go out to eat with my boyfriend without being expected to bring dinner for the family. Oh, that's crazy. That's a lot. Yeah. And you know, I mean, I think it does matter how you raise. When you're not raised to, like you said, think about yourself. When there is a constant expectation put, especially in these societal days, it is always about generation and legacy. It's rarely about you. It's rarely about what you want. It's often about what's best for society, what's best for the family, what is best for the legacy. So perceived power and access. Well, I mean, she does have some power and access because, you know, as we see in the end episode, how she was kind of able to use her ways to help Bridgerton or Benedict or Sophie. So there was some, I don't know if you would consider that power because it's not. Well, yeah, I mean, they got married. Shit, that's a whole, you know, societal situation. But I think too, we see her journey of finding her voice in this box she has to be in, which I think Lady Danbury is a great example of it, right? Like she said, that's always going to be the queen, but I don't always treat her as the queen. I've found a way to communicate and express and get my points across and be heard in a way that's respecting of the crown, of my position, my station, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, you know, there's that. Lady Danbury is my favorite character. I can't stand her eyebrows. They really piss me off. Like it pisses me off to no end because everything else in Bridgerton is so beautiful and so like intentional and detailed and, you know, just fabulous. And then we get to that lady eyebrows. And I'm like, you got the budget? You literally could microblade some new brows on her face. Like you don't have any excuse. You could do a tattoo eyebrow at this point. I know they got lace front eyebrows. Like there's no excuse for that lady eyebrows to be like that. And then I'm like, are they like that in real life? Like, are they? What's her name? Let me see. I got to find out. Is it because if it's just for the character, it's really gonna piss me off. It's really gonna piss me off if it's just for the character. Adoja Ando. That's her name. I think that's how you say it. Okay, no, they like that in real life. Yeah, they need to fix that. That's not acceptable. That's not okay. No. Lady Mondridge took her power, but she didn't have it by default. Being a lady in waiting is a position, not power. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Lace front eyebrow. No, no, no. I'm looking at these brows. Shit pisses me off every time. I'm gonna write a letter. I'm gonna write a letter. Because this can't be. Okay. Next episode. Now for real, dearest gentle reader, get that shit off her face expeditiously. Shit, that is not cute. Okay, so now. Okay, so we see also in the next episode, episode 5, what's her name? Francesca and Michaela get into it. And basically she let her know, like, listen, cousin, we're married. This is my man. And this is my house. These are how I run things, and I need you to act accordingly. Okay, I'm gonna need you to fall in line because you've been running them up. We got a routine. We have a strict schedule that me and my man keep. And yeah, I know that's your cousin, but like, you know, so I'm curious who crossed the line. I just want to know, was there a line crossed? Or was it just the conversation that needed to be had? I don't know. I feel like Michaela low key kind of crossed the line. Like she should have known they're married now. Like they need to establish, their lives, their routine. Let me not come in and tell them when they need to break their fast and how they staff and how they run their household. And also that man should have said something too, but also he might not have necessarily realized the frustration that Francesca was experiencing because she is not the most vocal. She definitely gives go along to get along, but you got to know your wife, a little bit. So, LMAO, she been living with them bros her whole life. Apparently, you think if they gonna take heat? Shit, I don't care. I'm gonna write it anyway. Get off my chest. Well, I'm gonna mail them some lace front brows, or at least a link with a QR code. They can scan it. Let me let me tell you what I have little towers for showing up unannounced and then trying to rush in. You gonna keep a routine or you gonna get out? Hello, he needs to come to bed. Josh should have absolutely said something. I'm sending you with the lace front eyebrows. I didn't create them. I didn't make this up. This is Hollywood. That's why I'm like, they really should know. It's up the street from them. Okay. I just see it on the internet. They have probably seen it in real life. But yeah, we got some routines around here. Okay. We got the schedule. We have things we're doing. Get on board, sister. Get on board, sister. And don't tell me I need to be looser or more lax because that's what John likes. John put a ring on it. John knew what I was, how I was, and John liked me when he asked me to marry him. Maybe, your chaotic ass is not what we need, okay? I'm not about to make me a guest in my own home, and that's on period, poo, okay? The lady asked Lady Whistledown to stop writing about her hoeing and sleeping with the married man, because that's what's making her life hard. Just stop sleeping with the married man. But they in love. Can you fall in love with a married man? Let's start there. Can you fall in love with a married man? We've got questions. And then you want to come to me and ask me to stop telling people vaguely that you're sleeping with a married man. Weird. John likes what I do in the bedroom now. Okay. Period. Hell no, you can't. He ain't your man. Falling in love with a married man is a hard no. Sir, I need you to go tend to your family. That's what the lady and the man said, that they're in love. Like, they're in love, though. So they're in love. So they need Lady Whistledown to stop writing about it because they're in love. And they can't be in love anymore because now she's confirmed they've been loving. You're in love with an idea. Exactly. And that's why he left her ass. Because ideally, you would have your own man and I would have mine. Okay, so they did the little finishing lesson debut. Cute. With the little dances and the foxtrots and the alligator waltz and stuff. What's her name? Exactly. That man ain't leaving his family ever. And no, I don't want you to. That's when we was talking about Scandal and how I was saying I don't really be feeling bad for Carrie or for Olivia and Fitz and them, and when they be breaking up and the fact that they can't be together and all of that stuff. I don't be feeling no waist tied. I don't, because how did you fall in love with this married man to begin with? You set yourself up for the okie doke. But then what we find out in later episodes and later seasons, that's a whole nother day to talk about TV, because we also need to talk about that, and I understand why I stopped watching it. But they said in later episodes, both Melly and Olivia, as to why they stayed with Fitz, despite knowing what they knew about the other woman, is because it worked. They both appreciated the unavailability, if you will, that the other created for the other. So Olivia liked that he was unavailable in the traditional, stable, routine, married sense, right? She just got to see him, and it was fun and exciting and wild and passionate, and discreet, and okay, but I'm gonna go to my home and sleep in my bed and eat popcorn and red wine in my own time, right? And Melly liked that, well, bitch, now I got time to pay attention to myself. I don't have to worry about meeting his needs and, tending to him. I can think about me and what I want to do and how I want to make changes and da da da. So I don't know how I got on that. But all that to say, there are some dynamics, I guess, in which this whole mistress situation can work for everybody. I am not trying to find out. I need you to be available for all the things. Okay. And I'm gonna be all the things, all the availabilities. Okay. I'm nobody's option. I'm gonna have to get gone. Listen, I'm known to only want a weekend boyfriend. I don't want a man living with me, but I'm also not gonna be with a married man. Period. And that's on period pool. Okay, so also, what's her name? Whistledown goes and apologizes to the queen because she's like, I complained to you about feeling trapped in and Whistledown, but you're literally the queen. Like, if anybody is locked in and loyal to something and not able to spread their wings because of something, girl, it's you. It's you, Lady Queen, Madam Queen. So that was cool. Okay, then we get to episode 6. I hated episode 6. It was really episode 7 because of what happened in 6. I don't know if this is where you want to log off, honey, but because let me find out someone I know. Okay, it's sleeping with someone married because I'm judging hard. Okay, judge on, friend. We expect you to be a judge. Bye, girl. Okay, so episode 6. Is when what's his name died? John. So when he did, and I called this too, when he came in that room and did that last little I'm not feeling well, I gotta go lay down because of Parliament, I said something about to happen to that man. Because why do he keep being tired? And why do we keep having to hear about him being tired? Why is his tiredness and sleepiness and retreatiness relevant to this storyline? And I said, oh, something about to happen to that man. I thought he was just gonna have cancer and be sick or something. But now that man just died. Just died. And we don't even get to know why. Because of course, the times. Young man, young, beautiful black man got to die. I was really pissed off about that. Like I didn't understand why that had to be a part of the story. I didn't understand why this man had to die. Like, this is about marriage and family and love and society. It isn't about death. And then they don't even have no kids to be like pass on the estate or nothing. So this young lady just about to be a widow for, forever. Like her mama, she went off her mama. I'm like, we not the same. Okay, you at least got kids by the man to remember him. I don't have anything. Yeah, I really hated that for her. And she was so sweet and loved him so much. And I felt it was just so genuine. And he freaking dies. How dare he? They need to take that out of the book, man, because no. But eventually, Michaela and our girl, they kiss and make up. They kind of basically, come to an understanding of each other, which I enjoyed that. Oh, okay. This part also confused me. but I got it, but it confused me at first. It was so interesting to see how Francesca was trying to be strong the whole time. It goes to show she was centering society and expectations. Exactly. And then they took Michaela, the other girl, to be like, look, this is how we do it in our culture in Scotland. You know, we celebrate life. And I think that that conversation happens a lot today too, right? Even though we don't have society, we have our own little mini communities. And in certain communities, Francesca's decorum behavior is what is expected. And in certain communities, oh girl, Michaela's behavior decorum is to be expected, you know? And I just think that's really something we deserve to have a conversation around, right? I don't think there's meaning I don't think there's any you can't tell nobody how to mourn, right? If you need to focus on the detail, and that's actually I thought she was trying to that's just how she mourned. I didn't necessarily think she was centering society's expectations, but it could be something both. Like I was gonna say, like if you need to focus on, you know, the details of the program, making sure this thing runs smoothly to like distract your brain. I can't tell you how to mourn. I can't tell you that's wrong. I can't tell you you need to be over here hooting and hollering. You know, that's just not you. And that's not how you go about it. Versus, you know, Michaela's like, this is whack. You know, we need some music, we need some food, we need to tell stories, we need to laugh, we need to cry, we need to be expressive. But I took that as that's Michaela versus that's just not Francesca. Francesca's not the the expressive type, but you know, I think both are valid in any regard. We celebrate life in New Orleans as well. I don't want a sad funeral. I don't want a funeral at all. Yeah, that's my mom. She wants a celebration of life. I don't really know. I guess I wouldn't want a funeral. I don't want to, you know, everybody sitting around crying over me, Argentina. Like, let's turn up. Let's have a good time. Put me on the dance floor and do a two step with me. Okay. Okay. Also during this time, Sophie is trying to figure out if she is pregnant or not. She don't let Mr. Bridgerton pinnacleize in her. So she got her little date book. Um, and we were trying to figure out, okay, was she marking off the time countdown to her courses, which is what I thought it was, or her period, or was she marking down the countdown to the time of when she had to get up out the house because she was like, I'll leave after Hyacinth's thing or whatever. Um, I don't even really want a celebration of life. Child, plant me in a tree and go laugh about something. Bitch, we celebrating your life. I don't know what you thought. But anyway. Um um I wasn't sure. I felt like it was kind of down to her courses. Yeah, that's what I thought too. To make sure she wasn't pregnant. So we do find out she is not with child. Okay, amen. Hallelujah. Um Anthony and Benedict argue about what's right. Da, 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 yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 6. I just burst out laughing so hard. I mean, you don't get to choose. Like she said, John doesn't want anything. He's not here. um okay, so then they have the funeral. The girls become cool, and old girl asked Michaela to stay. She asked Michaela to stay, and Michaela got the fuck. Michaela is out here. Is Michaela gay? I thought we had um inklings of that from last season. I thought I could remember that her and Eloise was a little connected, you know, if you will. Because what's his name was like, don't do any suitors for her. Don't introduce her to any suitors. And he was like very serious about that. Yeah, and I was like, okay, why can't she have no suitors? Like, is she gay? Hmm, interesting. Because and I'm only saying that because she hasn't made the proclamation of like spinster town or that she hates marriage or relationships or anything like that. Like the other ones, she just don't want no male suitors. So, I don't know. Yeah, I really hated episode 7. It was the funeral episode, and it was just so melancholy. I mean, but I guess they had to reflect on life and death because we also, I don't know if it was in this episode, we also seen, which I appreciated the writing, the humanity in Lady Penwood, right? We got to see that she was motivated by something, even though her motivations we could debate later, right? She was, in her mind, doing what she had to do to protect her kids and society. She didn't want her children and family to be associated with a ward, right? Which would tarnish their good name at the time. And so treated Sophie as such. Now, again, we can debate all day long, that her motivations were not quote unquote good or right. But I did take some solace in knowing at least she just wasn't evil for the sake of being evil. Like she was trying to achieve some good in all of it, right? And also, she is a twice widow. I mean, I can imagine you being a little bitter or hurt or angry or, insert adjective here, about life, about the things. So, there's that. What else? What else? Oh, girl, Posey sneaks next door to tell Sophie to watch out for Lady Penwood. They do their little dance. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much all I got for that episode. Anything, KJ? Posey is very cute. Her and old girl are real life sisters. And her and Sophie. I've always wanted a sister. Excuse me. Wait for this commercial so I can keep scanning through. Yeah, they did a little TikTok together, a video or something. I have to find it and send it to you. So there you can see it. Ooh, I'm getting tired. I still need to work out today. So we're gonna have to wrap this thing up in the next 20 minutes. Oh yeah, they did that. I always wanted the brother or that one. And I think they put that in the caption, something like that, or sister or something like that. Okay, so in this episode they go to court because they had Sophie locked up for them freaking shoe clips, which is stupid. And it's so funny because she's like, girl, them things were not even worth anything. You doing all of this and it's not worth anything. Just that even more showed her spite and just hate. Yeah, it's not about the shoe clip. She impersonated a lady. Like, girl, she is a lady. I mean, for all intents and purposes, like, yeah, you're a hater. Okay. So then the queen has this grand ball for Lady Danbury, right? She finally grants her leave without saying yes, right? Because she can't say it, right? She just gives her this. Girl, I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm sad. I would be sick. I would be so sad. For her to leave, so she's throwing the ball. That's the theme of this episode, right? Okay. Sophie and Bridgerton, they do it again. They sneak into the house to find out that the will is not what old girl said. Also we see Lady Mondridge and her husband, have this like really sweet moment where he is encouraging her he like, look, if you don't like this lady in waiting, we can go move to the country. I don't care about none of this society stuff. I care about you and your happiness. Like, we can leave. And she like, no, like, you can't quit the queen. So he's like, okay, so if you're gonna do it, like, he's giving her, words of encouragement, like basically like, don't wait for her to call on you. Find your moment. Find the right time to say what you need to say and assert yourself. Some advice that she takes heed to and seemingly works out well for her. At the end, lady was the queen was like, you lucky I went along with that. Next time, wait to be called on and stuff. Like, she liked her spunk, and she liked that she's, going outside of the norm, but she can't tell her that. So that's always funny to me. Um I peeped that when the first, yeah, I knew he didn't write her out the will either. I knew that was gonna be how it ended. It was just gonna be like, okay, how are we gonna figure this out? How are we gonna close this up? Um, it has to be so hard to not even be able to cry when you are sad. What you referring to on that one? I kind of caught that comment late. Okay, but would you be willing to give up your rank and other privileges for love? Would you be willing to marry that bus driver and give it all up? Yeah, I would. I would. I think I would. I think I would because I'm very big on feelings, right? And emotions and how I feel. And being in society feeling trapped and suffocated and not free and confined doesn't sound attract like, especially when you have the option of something else. When that's all that there is, you go along, you get along. You don't know any better, you don't do any better. You don't see that you have options. That's why we had a whole freaking women's movement, because a lot of women thought like me, like, yeah, I don't want to do this shit no more. I don't want to be trapped. I'll give it all up, hang it up, flat screen, for a feeling of freedom and love, genuine love and care, right? And support, and somebody that's going to take you in the back, like, okay, put your hands up. Let's go. Let's do it. Tell me the things, support, all of that. Um, I think I would. I think I would. It wouldn't, I'm not saying it would be easy, but I think I definitely would lean more into the love match of it all. Um, would you have given Lady Penwood grace, or would you have had her locked up? Ooh. I mean, I like how Violet, Lady Bridgerton, handled it. I think I would have locked her up, but I also think, considering what she knows, I would have just did a convenient rewriting of history. Like like she said, I would have locked her because you grown, right? Like, what you're doing is wrong. Maybe not for life, but you're gonna get sat down for some time. But then there's questions of, well, why did she get locked up, and why did she go to jail, and why? So now we gotta expose Sophie in order to make that happen. So my heart would have wanted to send her ass to jail. But like she said, you ruin me, I'm gonna ruin you. So blah, there's that. She kind of had him by the coattails there. I found it hilarious. The queen. Oh, we gotta go with it. The queen. Um, I feel like we could have played the ruin game. Yeah, I would have liked, the pettiness in me would, like I said, would have definitely liked that. But for not wanting to risk my son, is my vindication of her worth more than my son and his future wife's peace of mind and livelihood? You know what I'm saying? So that's all. Um, what was I gonna say? Freak. It just jumped out of my brain. But anyway, I wanted to talk about. Oh, I said I was gonna say I found it funny when the queen was laughing at them because she knew they was lying to her when she went in the back room after they had, their discussions or whatever, and And she was like, "Nah, I thought there was something about a maid." And the lady was like, "Oh, I was mistaken." And I'm like, did she practice this laugh? Did she go in the mirror and say, "What does my queen laugh sound like?" Because it sounded very caricature esque, right? Like it wasn't like a, but it was like a cackle, like I don't know. It was shocking, really. So I found that really funny. Now I did want to talk about how in the end, Lady Bridgerton and Lord Anderson did not continue their relationship because she was wanting her freedom. After she did what she did with the Queen, she like, I'm just now finding my stride. Wait a minute. Violet has a voice outside of, again, like we were speaking to before, she had been so beholden to this dead man. She's like, I have a voice, right? Like I have some power. I have some freedom. You done opened my flower. You done opened that, that whole world. So it's just like, um, that was an interesting choice and good on her, for making that choice. Being somebody's wife is not something you enter into lightly. And she, of all people, would know that, right? But I appreciate her boldness again, especially in these times and in this type of society, to decide I want to frolic. I don't want to be a wife right now. I would love for us to continue engaging with each other, but on a permanent, consistent level, ooh, I don't know. If we can make that happen. So that was dope that she decided to do that. Okay. And then that's pretty much it, y'all. I mean, Sophie and Benedict get married. Of course, we could have predicted that from the beginning. It is a love story. They have their little wedding, and good on her. She deserves love and happiness, just like all of us. As always, I appreciate the diversity in the cast. Even physical diversity. A girl with no arm was getting her act on. Um, yeah, overall, this wasn't necessarily my favorite season. I couldn't tell you which one was my favorite. I don't have enough of an analysis of the other ones, if you will, to determine that. But yeah, I mean, she definitely did her thing, in the story writing. Like you said, seeing it from the perspective of the maids and those nuances. And again, I love like in that slide thing you sent me, that she genuinely creates worlds, right? She genuinely creates, she fully, dives into society and being of the town, and again how these people would make these decisions. We've had so many moments tonight where we're like, well, I would have never did that, right? But Bridgerton, is what is what you got to do. You only got but so many options, in that time, and her just kind of like being true to that. Is super dope. And then obviously the visuals and the costuming and the hair and everything but Lady Danbury's eyebrows. Um, it's just beautiful. It's very well executed. So, anything else? The costumes, the visuals, art design. This is my second favorite season, but Queen Charlotte is my favorite show in the universe. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Queen Charlotte. 100%. Agreed, agreed, agreed. Agreed, agreed, I do agree, agree, I do, I do agree. Yep, they changed the opening to make it darker in morning. Yeah, the visuals are top notch, and the detail, the level of detail is insane. Like that's what I said. I know they got the budget. I know they got the budget. My predictions for next season? Oh man. So who's next? Hyacinth or Gregory? Do we think it'll be Hyacinth? I guess if it goes boy girl boy girl. What's gonna be her thing? After talking to Cressida, if Eloise got married, that would definitely make for an interesting season. They would have to have a real. I thought she was gay too, though. Also, I thought she was being gay with the other girl with Michaela, but that could be interesting. Um, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about like the potential conflicts and challenges, of society and like how it's gonna play into the world. So I'm excited. I know it's gonna be either Hyacinth or Eloise. I would say Eloise. I would venture to say Eloise because I feel like that gives us a little bit of a callback, and then we have some more seasons to kind of like look forward to down the line. I would like to see Eloise's situation. I'm really curious to see who is the new Lady Whistledown. It could be Lady Mondridge. That would be dope. That would be interesting. She did have a flirt thing with the boy in the print shop. Also, Hyacinth changed her mind after Don died. Yeah, she didn't want to learn. Yeah, yeah. So I think it could be Eloise. I think it could be Eloise. I think what's her name is Lady Dam or Lady Whistledown. Lady Mondridge is Lady Whistledown. But see, what I will miss next season is Lady Danbury if she is gone. If she's like completely removed, or does she come back? Right? Like, oh, I've been away in the countryside and now I'm back. Is that the story they're gonna play with that? But Eloise, you think so? I don't think so because Eloise don't be caring to be out and about and in the things. So like, mm um, maybe they'll go with Lady Danbury. Is Whistle down? Okay, possibly, possibly, possibly. It's gonna be somebody we ain't expecting though. Probably like Posey or something. That would be crazy. Oh gosh. All right, girl. I'm about to get up off of this thing. I gotta still work out and eat myself. So, and I gotta finish downloading those clips from what you call it. But oh, the storyline. Ooh, she need her own situation, her own spinoff, her own Queen Charlotte, Lady Danbury situation because she has a crazy story herself. So, y'all, me too. I'll see you tomorrow. Well, I'll see you in a recording, and then I'll see after that. Love you. Bye.